What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Why does the United States pay higher drug prices than other countries? Because America's the only country in the world where 340B hospitals mark up drug prices and PBM middlemen charge billions in hidden fees. Meanwhile, Americans subsidize the research and development for new cures. Other countries benefit, but don't pay their fair share. Crack down on the middlemen. End the free riding. Lower drug prices. Go to balancethescales.org to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
The Stanley Cup is where it belongs, near the quarter deck by Ben & Jerry's, near Rock Bar on Las Olas. Everyone knows it. It stays there. South Florida owns the Stanley Cup. Zaslo's about to leave because he's very wanted by ESPN Radio, even though right now, last night, he said a bunch of things on, what is it, the show?
No.
Game Night?
Game Night, yeah.
Game Night. They
Great
called
show.
him, and he had things to say, and he doesn't remember any of them.
Nah, not really.
Before we bring in Nick Wright here and Tony Reali to carry us as Billy Gill Wild Willie Wednesday continues, Chris and Roy have arrived at the Elbow Room, the rightful home of the Stanley Cup, two-time defending champions. I'm not confident in either our audio or our video. Roy, take it away.
We are live here at the Elbow Room. Guys, why is everybody laughing?
Well, just because it froze immediately, and we will go back to you. Who's that behind you, Roy? Who is that? Okay, he's frozen too. Roy, we'll get back to you shortly if there's time. We will get a live. Thank you for the live reporting.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work from the Elbow Room. We bring in Nick Wright now. Thank you. We will go back to you at some point.
That's a tough
So
one.
you sent him out there.
It is, yes.
And then
Yes, I sent him out there. All right, is it unfrozen? Roy, go ahead. Let's try again.
We have already seen Matthew Tkachuk, Evan Rodriguez, and Anton Lundell lift the cup from the balcony here. It is a wild scene as Chris Cody is jumping behind me.
Yeah,
I don't know who that white dude was that was behind me earlier with the green shirt, but it seemed like he was drunk.
Well, that narrows it down. The white dude in the green shirt who is drunk, that's not everyone there in the land of 1,000 Chris Codys. The trophy has been broken. It's been broken.
Not that I've seen yet.
Okay, not good reporting. No, it is broken. You're
Break
close.
that shit. Got here, Dan.
Only in two places.
I literally just got here. Dan.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to you in a second. We'll come back. See, go get near the trophy. They've broken it. The top of it's broken and the bottom of it is dented. Thank you for being on.
one of 12 Stanley Cups. Who cares?
Is it? Really?
Chris Cody, excellent work. You left behind all of the prep for Nick Wright. Let's go out to Nick Wright for real quick here. Well, not quick. It's never quick with Nick Wright. He will take over the proceedings here shortly, I would imagine. Nick, are you ready to go? Who are you talking to? You were in the preview, and now
I don't hear you guys. Now I do.
Okay.
Hi, Dan. How are you? Good to see you.
All right.
When I couldn't hear, I was having to keep myself occupied. I was reading the latest glowing Pablo Torre profile in the New York Magazine. You guys signed a $50 million deal. I can't even get a front office sports article about it. And more legacy media being like, hey, this guy sure is nosy. It's really unbelievable. How are you?
So Pablo is featured in a very prestigious publication. I had not heard this.
New York Magazine. And as you could guess, it took 13 words before the Peabodys were mentioned. And so that was good. By the way, speaking of featured, I did think it was nice that Pablo because I didn't like Pablo and Bill feuding. I thought it was nice that he went on the pod with Bill and stood his ground, to his credit, didn't back down. And if people didn't hear it, we did a kind of super cut of it for him so they could hear the 90 minutes or 60 minutes Pablo and Bill spent hashing it out. Two podcast legends. Go play it for us if you could.
Murrow and Peabody
Peabody nominated. Edward R. Murrow Award. Peabody Award nominated. Peabody. Edward R. Murrow. Peabody. Peabody Award nominated. Peabody. Edward R. Murrow Award. Murrow and Peabody.
That's Bill Simmons and Pablo Torre. Why didn't you like to see them fighting?
Well, here's the thing. I know that,
that's his
Dan.
catchphrase. Don't take the "here's the thing." That's his transition is "here's the thing." It's his pompous broadcasting bridge.
So I guess in theory I wouldn't have minded seeing them fighting, but I actually like both of those people. I know that you might be like, Nick, you like Pablo? I do like Pablo. I imagine I have the relationship with Pablo that Pablo has with Larsa Pippen, where like I don't have anything against him. I'm kind of fascinated by him. I don't totally understand the big deal, but there's no ill will. And Simmons is obviously a legend in the industry, and so I didn't want to see them fighting over Bill Belichick, so I was glad they squashed it.
You don't understand what big deal?
I don't understand why there has been, again, I'll just say what I said. This is really just a defense of the Le Batard Show. If you weren't watching your guys' show the day you announced your latest partnership with your friends and my friends at DraftKings, I don't know if anyone knows about it. Meanwhile, you could have been on an around-the-world 180-day cruise, and you are still you're inundated with updates on the world according to Garp via Pablo Torre. It's just a weird media diet as far as what the people think is relevant and what's not. And I just thought you guys going out on your own doing a thing where's that profile? Where's Chris Cody was right about Connor McDavid? Where's that profile? Where's Roy basking in the glory of a 2-time champion in South Florida? Where's that profile? That's all. I'm just asking for a more, a kind of distribution of the glowing pieces. That's all. Maybe it's jealousy from me. Let me see what else I have to read here. This is the Washington Post. Let me see what this is.
Yeah, you got a big article there. You're wearing
that was good.
Nice.
Oh, look who's on the front of that.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, no, that's the Capitals. Sorry, I thought it was the Panthers at first, but no, that's me. But that's fine.
You.
But it's not the New York Magazine, tell you that much. It's not the Atlantic.
Tony, do you have a defense of your boy Pablo Torre? Because
Nick Wright, Tony Reali here, my man.
Oh, it's Reali.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I didn't know you were here.
I'm right here, man.
Can I take it all back?
No.
Oh, my God. I've never talked to Reali.
Nick,
I'm so excited to talk to Reali.
I just want to say,
think I'm an ass.
No, I think you are who you are, but I would say it's possible you're online a little too much. And this is advice I would impart. I mean, it's just a little bit too much. That's all. I mean, you're keeping up with the amount of mentions of people in certain publications.
Well, no, but this is egregious. Hold on. What, Billy, put on here for me, please, and stop watching the television of another show when you're in EP. Play for me again the sound that Nick played of the Bill Simmons podcast.
Murrow and Peabody nominated. Edward R. Murrow Award. Peabody Award nominated. Peabody.
I'll give Nick credit for this. This is a good bit.
Peabody Award nominated. Peabody. Edward R. Murrow Award.
No, this is that I give him 5 points for. Nick Wright +5. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, wow!
Do we have it on the ding dings?
Can I break the fourth wall or whatever it's called? Can I have a moment of earnestness?
Yes, that's. I think you've been very earnest about how much.
But kind earnestness. Because I've wanted to talk to Tony Reali my entire life. And we've only ever... Yeah. No, we are doing it. Gosh darn it.
All right.
We've only ever DM'd.
Yeah.
And I did 10 minutes.
No, it was beautiful.
Probably bad. It was probably bad... Hold on, let me just tell the audience what it was.
Yeah.
It was probably bad podcasting. A 10-minute segment.
It was a beautiful
that was essentially a message in a bottle.
It was
to Reali,
and it was received, and I responded to you.
He sees it.
It was received,
which he did. And so so it is really, I didn't know you were, I apologize, I've been running around this morning. I didn't know you were in studio right now.
Well, they needed some positivity around here, so I've been kicking it up here, and we did it that way.
I saw you let someone dunk on you. That was nice.
Yeah.
But it's great to talk to you. It's an honor, and I hope to see you in New York sometime.
Yes, and we'll do that. We'll do it the right way. But my point is, at some point, we can just all log off a little bit. That's all I want to impart to everybody.
But the problem, Tony, is I did log off, and then I picked up the New York Magazine, and I'm staring at Pablo again. I did log off. That's the problem. But again, I do this because it's fun and because,
I've never heard Reali say something as unkind as I think you are. I think you are who you are. I think you are who you are is the meanest thing I've ever heard Reali. No, look, Nick Wright, look. I admire Nick Wright I admire Nick Wright for a lot of reasons, but he doesn't mind getting dirty. You live above the fray.
No, that was above the fray. I am who I am. I know who I am, and I think this is only a compliment. Knowing who you are is 95% of life. But I know Nick knows who he is.
But it came right after Nick was embarrassed, saying Tony's going to think I'm an ass, and then you said you are who you are.
Maybe there was a slight delay in my.
I think you are who you are. Is what?
All right. Well, if that's how it came out, I need some street cred. I need to be. Let me start a public feud then. I need
exactly
some
right. People like media feud.
I don't understand. I don't understand why people like it. I have no idea why people like it.
I don't understand it either. It's a very weird thing. It's actually, there's a weird, almost, if I had a little more time to parse this out, I could make a smarter point. Instead, I'll make the lower level point. It's a first cousin of the amount of people who don't really watch regular season NBA, but consume a ton of NBA gossip content podcasts. There are a lot of people who don't necessarily watch the sports talk shows, but really like when people involved in those shows appear to be feuding. I didn't have enough time to really put a fine point on it, but that is an odd thing that definitely exists.
I'll give you 2 points for that. I don't agree with the whole place that the NBA is in, where we overlook what actual basketball is, and we're just going to talk about feuds, or even worse, where somebody wants to play 3 months from now, 8 months from now, when we're in the middle of the NBA Finals. That, to me, is tiresome.
Yeah, what about, or feuding, or media
But just to go back to my appreciation of humanity, I believe knowing who you are is 95%. That's self-fullness, right? And that's what I want to say to you, Nick, right now. You have a knowledge of who you are as a person, and I think that's wonderful.
First of all, that's touching, and I appreciate that. I can't imagine and I'll self-reveal this, Dan, what's going through Dan's mind, because 96 hours ago, I sat with Dan at a tequila bar in Miami and basically told him, I'm not even comfortable telling anyone how I feel about anything unless I've had a drink or two. So it's a weird dichotomy of I am incredibly open and honest under two circumstances. If I am on air, or if I've got a pop in me. But if I'm just regular day-to-day Nick, just riddled with angst and anxiety and just bottled up, which again is not really, what you guys came here for, but I can't help but see.
Dan is salivating over this. He's thinking Around the Morn right now. He wants to go Around the Morn, which is a combo
show. He already told me this.
Of Morning and Alonzo. He told you this because he thought this was a great idea. This is unbelievable.
Working on material with Nick Wright?
No, I told him the more general men who like their vulnerabilities, not the Around the Morn idea.
I thought you were pitching the idea.
A show about grief and trivia about Alonzo Mourning. No, I wasn't discussing this with Nick Wright in a tequila bar 70 hours
I don't know. You knew Reali was coming to town.
True. He was not. He didn't front run the idea. My point is, Dan. I already know Dan is fascinated by what I would call my foibles, what other would call my deep-seated insecurity.
But your willingness to publicly be anxious, I would say, I've talked with Tony about this. I don't look at Tony and see someone who's anxious. I think Tony Reali masks it very well. We talk about it on South Beach sessions, but I don't look at you, Nick, either and see anxiety. Do you look at Nick? Do any of you see Nick performing and ever consider that there might be anxiety in there somewhere?
No. No,
he gives off total confidence.
I'm comfortable on the air. I'm comfortable on the air. And again, I don't have to like get sloshed, but if I just need a little lubrication, a little mental lubrication, slow things down a bit, relax a bit. But that's not what people. I don't know what people want, but they probably don't want me to talk about that. They want me to talk about LeBron saying rings are overrated. Amen, brothers.
Okay.
Finally, somebody said it.
My apologies for being a little distracted. The Roy video keeps freezing with Chris.
Won a Stanley Cup yesterday. Here we are talking about how sad Nick Wright is.
I don't trust getting to the video. Billy, do you trust anything about this video at the Elbow Room?
But we should go to it anyway.
All right, Roy, give us whatever update you got from the Elbow Room, please.
Well, Nate Schmidt has just made it out to the street and decided to celebrate with all the fans over here, and they're jumping around right behind me. He's trying to make his way back into the Elbow Room. Conor Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart has poured beer all out of the cup and onto the fans from the balcony. That's the update from the Elbow Room. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thank you. We missed the big Nate Schmidt moment, but we almost had it. Instead, we were talking about Nick Wright's anxieties.
Okay, well, that's your guys' fault. That's bad producing. That's not my fault.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you.
I'm so happy for Roy. There was a part of me, true story, when this was the Stanley Cup final again, I was like, I don't know, man. Florida won last year, and it certainly matters more to Edmonton and Canada as a whole than to South Florida. So I was like, I think I'll probably root for Edmonton. I didn't have a bet on it either way. But then I was like, no. I want the Le Batard guys, most notably Roy, to be able to revel in this mini dynasty. So I'm really happy you guys won. I'm shocked by it, but I'm really happy you guys won. So that's great. I mean, that's really cool.
Why the mini?
Well, isn't just back-to-back just a mini dynasty? Like, don't you have the...
It's what the Chiefs have done, right?
Chiefs won 3 out of 5.
Yeah, but back-to-back was the best run.
Right, so, yeah, but I think if the Chiefs... So let me ask you this. Did John Elway's Broncos have a dynasty? I don't think so. Mini dynasty, right?
Does having gone to the Stanley Cup the year before winning back-to-back create a dynasty? Because that's what the Panthers have done here. They've been to 3 straight and won 2 of them.
So isn't that exactly what the Dolphins did? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it that exact thing? Didn't they lose a Super Bowl and then go back-to-back? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that adds to it. I'm not trying to parse dynasty, mini dynasty.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah, you did it. Don't take it back now. You put a mini in front of it. I found it disrespectful. I asked you, I questioned you, and then you
rooting for the Oilers and not a dynasty.
And then when they push you on your Chiefs, you're like 3-5, 3-5, 3-5 with the match.
Greg Cody hates mini.
Well, I mean, again, the Chiefs thing is really a 7-year run, 7 Final Fours, 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 championships. The Cats aren't quite approaching that stature yet. But that's that to me is a dynasty. Maybe you guys are. Again, but in hockey, didn't a team win like 7 in a row once? The Montreal Canadiens or something? So I don't know. I don't know the rules in hockey.
Well, will you cover it? Because I see all over ESPN, it's all NBA all the time. Will Fox cover it? How will you talk about this in your many venues?
We have an odd rule on First Things First, which is we only talk about hockey if it looks like another sport. So, like, if a puck's flying through the air and a guy slaps at it, kind of looks like baseball, we put it in. If there's a fight that looks like boxing, we put it in. And so we rarely do hockey when it looks like hockey. Oddly. That is a rule. Kevin Wilde has established it. I'm sorry, it's just the rules. You can't cover everything, boys.
But you say it's just the rules. It's your show. It's your show. What do you mean it's just the rules?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That I'm at least a third of the show. However, we all have roles on the show, right? Reali can definitely relate to this. Mm-hmm. So Brew is kind of like the conscience and the elder statesman of the show. I am the opinionist, as they say, more so. Some people throw around hot take artist. And Wilds is the self-appointed leader of the show who kind of guides our topic selection. And so at times I'll fight for something. Will I fight to do a Kachuk McDavid topic? Probably not.
Look, as a small business, we don't get to clock out, ever. We're always on. Nights, weekends, holidays. So, when it came time to hire someone, we couldn't waste time. We needed help. real help, not Stugotz knows a guy help. We use LinkedIn Jobs. And we'll be honest, we didn't expect it to be that easy. We posted the job for free. LinkedIn basically held our hand and wrote the description for us. Next thing you know, candidates, qualified ones, not resumes written in crayon, real people who want to work. Imagine that. LinkedIn gives you all the tools, deep insights, easy filtering, one place to manage everything. We even threw the little hashtag hiring frame on our profile picture, doubled the number of applicants. Now we're part of that 72% of small businesses that say LinkedIn helps them find high-quality candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Folks, the time has come for some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. Roy, hockey season's almost over. You're going to be out of the barn, and you're going to be out on the golf course with me. You need new clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have your PXG fitting coming up soon. I did mine. I am telling you, it is the most efficient process. I went to the Fort Lauderdale location. They have them all over. It is efficient. You're in and out in an hour. You're swinging clubs. They're assessing you. Next thing you know, weeks later, boom, new clubs, irons, woods, putters. I'm telling you, it's the whole 9 yards. Is that a golf phrase? Whole 9 yards. That's a football phrase.
That's like, what, you're chipping 9 yards?
It's the whole 10-foot putt. PXG does it better than anybody else. It's knocked 4 to 5 strokes off my game within the first month, and it's just a game changer. PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. Schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order, guys. That's 20% off your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/Dan. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Dan Le Batard.
Florida claws back from down 2-0 because they were getting their asses handed to them by Toronto to then get lit afire underneath them by their head coach, Paul Maurice, who did the thing. Remember how the run was sparked last year?
Stugotz.
He called them a bunch of P's and B's. He did the thing again. Called them a bunch of P's and B's, and then, boom, 5 unanswered. You win the division.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I want to get Zaslow's thoughts on the Panthers before he has to leave to do big things for ESPN Radio. But I argued when Greg Cody had 2 pinky rings and no wedding ring that he was signaling to all that he is open for business. Can you tell me what you've got going on with your pinky ring situation?
No, I still have the wedding ring. Not only do I have the wedding ring, hold on. The wedding ring, you take the wedding ring off, bam, tattoo. So I'm totally covered there. What I'm signaling to the audience with the pinky ring is, you want to make a bet? It's just like a symbol, like I'm open to gamble. Like you walk down the street and someone, it's like a, it's like, how they said Padilla needed to be wearing his U.S. Senator pin because then everybody knows? It's the same type of thing with gamblers. You see someone with a yellow gold diamond pinky ring, they're like, they'll probably do a parlay here or there.
That's the issue.
So it just... Yeah.
That's the issue because Greg Cody has a regular set of rings, right? And we say he's open for business. Couple of rings on the pinky, no wedding ring means you're a player.
I can't believe how fluent Nick just did that because I want to put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the pinky ring the international symbol for you want to make a bet? Because
where I come from, it's something totally different. Oh, yeah. Where I come from, it's like can put a body somewhere.
Really?
Right?
Yeah, but guess the reality.
Yeah,
we come from similar areas.
Okay.
This is from my now past Italian grandfather's ring that was passed down to my dad and passed down to me. But you know what a lot of people did? You know what got a lot of people, in the grave where their body had to be disposed of? Making a bet.
The gambling, yeah.
Like that's the beginning of that story a lot. Is they made a bet. Yeah. And then they ended up, and a different guy with a different pinky ring had to go dispose of it.
Yeah.
But it started with the bet.
Yeah. Zaslow, before you get out of here, do you want to say anything to Roy? Do you want to give us any last analysis? Your beloved Panthers, a giant family moment. Today is one of the happiest days of your life, is it not?
Yeah. Can Roy hear us? He can hear us right now, right?
We're going to go to Roy in a second, but as we do that, it is one of the happiest days of your life, correct?
Last night our favorite little hockey team gave us a forever night. That's what sports are, right? That it was a forever night that for the second year in a row, I'm so happy I got to spend it with my boys, with my father, 3 generations of Zaslows. For only the second time ever, we got to experience that together. So it was an all-time night, and I know Roy can hear us now. My son is somewhere there, Roy. He's 16. He's somewhere there at Elbow Room. Just, I don't know. I told him to look for you. I'm hoping.
How did you tell him to look for him?
Well, I said, find Roy. He's black. And so I'm hoping that he will find you.
I mean, it's really helpful there.
It shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I mean,
that crowd in particular.
Let's be honest. And just, I don't want him to be walking around with tequila shots. So just keep an eye out.
Roy, how many black people are there?
What are we doing here?
I think I counted about 5.
Okay,
maybe 6.
5 or 6.
Okay.
All right, so we haven't found Zaslow's son yet, but Zaslow, here, bring out the emotional side of Roy, because he's being reporter guy. But Roy, did you hear Nick Wright? Who is that up there? What are they doing? Who are they throwing beer on? Who are those players?
Sam Reinhart is throwing beer. Magic Kachuk is also throwing beer. Chris Cody is jumping around right now.
Yes.
And
what
Nate
is he
Smith
doing?
is lifting the cup right now.
Said he'd be perfect there. Said we needed to send him out there. It was important to send him out there. That's what he said. Roy, tell me emotionally how you feel. Nick Wright just got done saying he was happier for you than he was for anybody around here.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Nick. And yes, I am actually happy because I've been following this team for 31 years and covering for over a decade now. And to see this sustainable quality of hockey, like, it's beyond words right now for me. Back-to-back championships, 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. They're here to stay right now, and I'm incredibly happy.
Bennett slapped my hand.
That's excellent contribution from you. You said you'd kill it out there, and you are over-delivering after
shadowboxing in the
over-promising. Yes, he's given us nothing from out there. Didn't tell Billy anything about what was needed for the rest of the show, but is shadowboxing as a champion. Chris Cody doesn't even hear what we're doing. He's not connected to what we're doing in any way. Roy, he's not helping you.
He's getting love, though.
He's not helping you.
He's adding to the overall mood.
He's not helping you, Roy. He's not doing his job. He is a child of privilege and nepotism.
Look at this.
You got that right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, thank you. All right, excellent work. We will check back in with you. But Zaslow, do you have anything to say to Roy before you go here for the day?
We did it, Roy. We did it, man. And you're welcome. I came home from my vacation. The Panthers won 4 out of 5.
Okay,
so
again about you.
There you
Okay,
go.
excellent coverage, great punctuation. You made a sacrifice for your team. You ended your vacation early, and that's why they won the cup.
You heard about that.
Please leave. Please get out of here. That was not useful.
Bye, Zaz. Congrats.
It was not helpful.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
Season's over.
Added confidence. He brought confidence.
He was very confident today. That's right. He's a champion. Please leave. I don't want to hear from you anymore.
Can I defend Chris Cody's contribution to the show?
Sure.
If I may?
Sure.
So he did help the show in 2 ways. One is he may or may not have been the person that made that Pablo Torre supercut. But more importantly, I texted him an hour ago, is Zaslow wearing a wig?
What are you talking about?
Excuse me?
No, what are you talking about? What?
And he I texted him that because I was so disturbed by what I was seeing. And Chris Cody wrote back to me, and I'll read it exactly.
No, I don't.
No, that's how he always looks.
Yeah, that's.
And I was like, wow. Well, I probably shouldn't mention that while he's in the room, but now that he's left, I feel comfortable. That's an odd look on anybody, to be honest. Even you know what? You could put Tony Reali's kindness to the test, and see if he can say something nice about that, because that was odd.
Well, please don't judge others' looks. Nick, you don't like it when people do this to you. You don't like people who undermine your credibility because they say whatever about how you look. Zaslow's a lovely human being who's very credible, and I don't know why you'd make fun of anything about him.
Confidence today
his confidence was off the charts today. He was really good. You think that's a bad look? You're comfortable judging how other people look?
Well, here's what I know this is the lead up to you guys throwing your favorite picture of all time. When my nose casts a shadow on my teeth.
No.
I would argue this, however. I would argue that judging someone's facial hair, grown out hair, not balding, but grown out hair, or clothes is fair, because those are choices. Judging someone because they have a arachnid style nose is just cruel.
I wasn't going to put up any picture there, but let me see the rules again. I'd like to know the rules in 2025 that Nick says is okay for making fun of people. It's facial hair, it's clothes.
Well, it's anything that you're choosing. So, like, if you say, Nick, your hair looks ridiculous, grown out, that to me is fair because I'm choosing it. If they're like, Nick, you should, there it is. See, there you go. So if you look at this picture and you're like, your beard should have been shaved, fair. If you look at it and say your hair's too long, fair. If you look at it and you're like, hey, your nose is casting a shadow on your teeth, unfair. I didn't choose that.
But it's your hair I'm making fun of there. It's not anything else. I'm only making fun of it.
And that guy is like, who's this freak show over here? Not him. He's saying that about me. And so, yeah. Exactly. And like if you're like, hey, Nick, you have bags under your eyes is a close call because did I choose not to get enough sleep or is that genetics? And so what I'm saying is if you think someone has, if they're bald, you can't make fun of that. Nothing to do about it. If you're like, that's a terrible hairstyle.
No, but wait, what if I don't know what you think is happening there, but well, I don't even know how to discuss this publicly because Zaslow's never brought this up on the show before. But if you're somebody who wears a hairpiece, then you are making fun of them being bald if they're covering up that insecurity with a hairpiece. We've not talked to Zaslow about it.
You could just get better ones.
Also a choice.
Bad one.
Okay, so that's the line now? That's the line on, okay, you can get, so your choice is a poor one, but bald, you're saying bald, you don't have a choice on whether or not you're bald, right? Again, I'm assuming that's a hairpiece. That's not something I've ever discussed with Zaz. That's none of my business.
I thought this was real. I had no idea.
You're the first one to say anything about this, actually, Nick. You're the first one who's ever brought this up on the show. In the hit, have you guys ever heard anyone like?
He's had a hat on the last couple appearances.
We don't talk to him about this. So you're doing something now. We've known Zaslow for 20 years, and we've never done to him what you just did.
Well, it sounds like I'm his best friend on the staff then, because somebody needed to say something. Because my God,
he's awfully comfortable with this, Tony. When you're the king of positivity of making people feel good, Nick Wright
it's incredibly well researched, though, and I love the way he made his argument. I'll give him that. As far as hair is concerned, we go to the dentist, we get our teeth cleaned up and veneers put on, and sometimes, I have no problem with someone saying I want to look differently with my head as much as they want to look differently with their teeth.
And also, Reali is probably, I don't know if he's either the best or the worst person to ask about this, because he's been one of the 3 or 4 best-looking men on sports TV for 20 years. Reali's always been handsome.
There's a list for this, too? You got to get offline.
What do you mean offline? Reali, I'm not as online as you think, man. This is just how my brain works. Like, lists are, is that?
Whoa!
Oh, no.
Delete that.
What?
No. Delete that.
Oh, my God.
The hat is shielding us from the truth. It's like seeing a mascot with his head off.
Staff Barber.
That is shocking. He doesn't know where. Guys, you got to get that off. That's like illegal in this. You can't be doing that to him. He doesn't know he's on camera.
Two-party state.
You can't do what we just did there. That's offensive. He's arguing with somebody.
Nick shamed him into a haircut.
That's, but in all seriousness,
that's a good look.
Nick, in all seriousness, because we've got Reali around here, and Reali is someone I've loved for a quarter century. Tell the man how it is you feel about him and why it is.
We're not doing this.
Listen,
nobody wants to hear this. He just did 10 minutes on radio last month on me. That was enough.
Why he respects who you are. Look, he's an expert in this game. He knows who's good at this stuff, and when he gives his respect, it's only because people deserve it. And so allow Nick Wright to give you some flowers here, because he's meeting you. and he admires you.
I've
It's
received
true. The very end, now you know anything I said about Tony Reali in theory up until a few weeks ago could have been selfish. Like, I'm trying to butter him up to get on the show. But now it's totally, you have no worry about that. Here's what I think. I think that the hardest thing in sports, one of the hardest things in sports media is going from someone who was not taken seriously to someone who was taken seriously. And when your introduction to the audience is literally called Stat Boy, they don't even tell you your name, and it's with these two icons of the field, and then you are asked to take over for one of the sharpest, smartest, in my opinion, most talented people in the field in Kellerman. And not only do you transition to where you are, you're the host of Around the Horn to Tony Reali's show is Around the Horn, and then transition from that to, hey, who is the actual, real heartbeat of our industry when it comes to kindness, audience interaction with those long threads you did of hey, let's talk about it, and those things. And as a non-religious person myself, someone who was hey, I'm proudly religious and I'm going to wear the ash on my head and I'm going to share the traumas of my family with you. It's a remarkable thing to do. And the fact that you were able to do it with, you probably talked for 4.5 minutes a day on the air. It's a 30-minute show. I can't do anything in less than 5-minute chunks. And so I just think it's remarkable. And it's just very, very rare to go through all those steps and to do it without accumulating a single enemy, and where everyone that I've ever met that I'm oh, do you know Tony? They're not only do I know Tony, might be the greatest human being ever.
Right.
And so
That's
it.
That was beautiful and heartful, and I have come to a place where that is a wonderful thing to have your friends or people in the industry or people that you want to be friends with say nice things about you is an incredible thing. I love everything about that. We've just spent more time on me than we did the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers.
Well, you receive what he's saying. Look, heartbeat of our industry. Just know that someone's not preparing something, sees you, and that's what they think. I'll let it go after that. Be comfortable with receiving the compliments you're receiving.
With that said, I do also think that if you and I changed, if everything about us were the same, except you looked like me and I looked like you, I feel like I'd probably at this point be Bob Iger.
Yeah, you'd be more successful. You would be.
No doubt about it.
Yes, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And I also think, hottest take, and then I'll shut up. I also think part of Tony's undying positivity and general affect is because when you walk around gorgeous your whole life, you feel different.
Even remotely
and
true.
I feel like when you walk around, people are oh, Nick, you're a little mean sometimes. No shit. Yeah, you develop a thicker skin. It happens.
Roy is now just taking pictures at the Elbow Room. Chris is just taking pictures at the Elbow Room. Roy, who are you taking pictures with out there like you're a champion, sir? Let us bask in the ambient noise, please.
Well, right now the fans have chanted, go to the ocean, but Sam Reinhart put the kibosh on that one. So I don't think the Stanley Cup is going to the ocean right now. Chris somehow got in.
Oh, great. There we go.
Yeah, but that's not helping us.
Additive. It is helping us. We can zoom
he
in
doesn't
there.
have a camera.
He's going to.
That doesn't help us. He's going to just do on his own private social stuff.
If he can get to the balcony and we can zoom in, Chris on the balcony, that's additive.
How did he get in, Roy? Why did you try to get in? Are they not letting people in with a camera or what?
No, I didn't try to get in. Apparently, Chris has a connection here at the Elbow Room, so
of course he does.
It's pretty much all for himself.
This is about to be the crowning day in the Cody family.
Billy, can you give me an appraisal on Chris Cody's job today as the executive producer of our show?
He's done the best he can.
Has he?
He said Bennett slapped my hand. That was pretty great.
Has he? He went out there and he left all his duties behind so that he could go there and be pink with the rest of those pink people.
It's Chris. Come on.
Okay, excellent work. Nick, can you give me your best minute on the NBA finals before you get out of here?
A minute, Dan?
All right. I got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Go.
Okay. No. So my best minute is this: is the 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder are the first team since the mid-'90s Bulls that can go on these 14-2 runs based purely on steals and defense. And then when you add to it the fact that they have these waves and waves of guys, and they very smartly, similarly to the Legion of Boom Seahawks, are like, we're going to play this level of physical from the opening whistle, and we're going to put the onus on the refs. Are you going to call 7 fouls in the first 5 minutes, or are we just going to set the tempo? They are an incredibly difficult team to beat. They're going to be deserved champions, all-time great single season. With that said, 4 of the last 5 teams to win the title, the day after they won the title, everyone's been like, well, damn, I guess they're going to win a bunch of these titles, and none of them have made it out of round 2 the next year. So I'm not ready to talk dynasty with them. I am ready to say all-time great single season, and I'm also ready to say the Pacers could have had one of the greatest upsets in NBA history, and the end of third quarter of Game 4 will haunt Pacer fans for the rest of their lives. Sorry, but it's true.
How can we look back at the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George of what it is that Oklahoma City benefited from just going all draft picks?
Well, the thing on that is, Oklahoma City bottomed out for 2 years, which is the maximum that I think is acceptable, but they also had to nail the picks. They had to prioritize getting Shea in that deal when nobody thought he was a future MVP, and they had to take Jalen Williams with the 12th pick. They had to trade up from 4-2 to get Chet. So they had to actually be very smart about it as well. They also took advantage of the Clippers, which is nice.
We've got to let him go, but What's Right with Nick Wright is something that you need to check out. He is doing it with his son. It is a personal project. It is an intimate project, and it is a very cool thing. What's Right with Nick Wright is part of everything that Colin Cowherd has going on with The Volume. Nick, it is nice to see you again. We will talk to you soon. Thank you, sir.
Congrats, Panthers. See you guys.
Man, he's good.
Look, as a small business, we don't get to clock out, ever. We're always on, nights, weekends, holidays. So, when it came time to hire someone, we couldn't waste time. We needed help. Real help. Not Stugotz knows a guy help. We used LinkedIn Jobs. And we'll be honest, we didn't expect it to be that easy. We posted the job for free. LinkedIn basically held our hand and wrote the description for us. Next thing you know, candidates, qualified ones, not resumes written in crayon, real people who want to work. Imagine that. LinkedIn gives you all the tools, deep insights, easy filtering, one place to manage everything. We even threw the little hashtag hiring frame on our profile picture, doubled the number of applicants. Now we're part of that 72% of small businesses that say LinkedIn helps them find high quality candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Folks, the time has come for some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. Roy, hockey season's almost over. You're going to be out of the barn, and you're going to be out on the golf course with me. You need new clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have your PXG fitting coming up soon. I did mine. I am telling you, it is the most efficient process. I went to the Fort Lauderdale location. They have them all over. It is efficient. You're in and out in an hour. You're swinging clubs. They're assessing you. Next thing you know, weeks later, boom. New clubs, irons, woods, putters. I'm telling you, it's the whole 9 yards. Is that a golf phrase? Whole 9 yards. That's a football phrase.
That's like, what, you're chipping 9 yards?
It's the whole 10-foot putt. PXG does it better than anybody else. It's knocked 4 to 5 strokes off my game within the first month, and it's just a game changer. PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. Schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order, guys. That's 20% off your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/Dan. Restrictions apply. See site for details.